Sometimes the quiet ones are the strongest. Sometimes the ones you mock the most are the ones who end up changing everything, not just for themselves, but for everyone watching. This is the story of a girl who faced humiliation in front of her entire school, and instead of breaking down, she stood tall, made the bullies run for cover, and taught an entire town what true strength looks like. So stay with me till the end, because what she did next, no one saw coming. The first bell rang through Ridgewood High like a war cry. Students poured across the cracked asphalt of the schoolyard, laughter echoing, sneakers squeaking, voices loud with gossip. But at the far end of the yard, a girl stood by herself, her backpack slung awkwardly over one shoulder, her eyes tracing the ground. Her name was Maya Thompson, and it was her first day at this school. Maya had transferred from a small mountain town after her father's death. Her mother had taken a job as a nurse in Ridgewood, hoping for a fresh start. But for Maya, the word fresh felt too raw. Everything smelled different. The air felt heavy, and the faces, none of them kind. As she walked through the yard, whispers followed her like shadows. "Who's the new girl? She looks weird. What's with that thrift store jacket?" Maya kept her head down, clutching her worn denim bag. Inside it was her sketchbook, her one place of peace. Then came Brooke Miller, the school's self-appointed queen bee, tall, blonde, and always surrounded by her loyal friends, Hannah and Lexi. Brooke didn't just walk, she owned the ground she stepped on. When she spotted Maya, her lips curled into a smirk. Well, the new girl," Brooke said loudly, her voice dripping with mockery. "You lost, country girl." "This isn't the farm," laughter exploded from her group. Maya's fingers tightened on her bag strap, but she said nothing. Brooke circled her like a shark. "You don't talk much, do you?" "Oh wait, maybe you can't. Do they even have schools where you're from?" More laughter. And that's when Maya realized something. They weren't just bullies. They were performers, feeding off the attention of others. The lunch bell rang, and Maya quietly walked to the far corner of the yard to eat alone. She sat by the old hose spigot near the gardening shed, the one nobody used anymore. It was peaceful, until she heard footsteps behind her. "Hey, country girl," Brooke sneered, holding a long green garden hose. "You looked a little dusty. Want a wash?" Before Maya could even stand, Brooke twisted the nozzle. A blast of icy water hit Maya full in the chest. She gasped, stumbling backward. The force knocked her lunch to the ground. Laughter roared through the crowd as students gathered to watch. "Stop!" Maya cried, shielding herself, but Brooke just laughed harder. "Oh, come on! We're helping you fit in. Clean and shiny!" The hose drenched Maya from head to toe. Her hair clung to her face, her clothes heavy with water. Tears burned her eyes, not from pain but humiliation. She looked around, but no one stepped in. Not one teacher, not one student. Brooke finally dropped the hose, smirking. "Welcome to Ridgewood, loser." The crowd began to disperse. Maya stood there, dripping, her lunch ruined, her heart cracking in silence. That night, she locked herself in her room, sitting in front of her mirror. Her reflection looked like a stranger. Wet hair, red eyes, and a question burning inside, why me? But as she looked closer, she felt something shift. Anger, yes, but not the kind that destroys. The kind that builds. The kind that whispers, "You don't deserve this. You can do something." She pulled out her sketchbook and began to draw. Not flowers or trees this time. She drew faces. Brooke's, Hannah's, Lexi's. Then slowly erased the fear from her own drawn face and replaced it with a calm, fearless smile. By the time dawn came, she wasn't crying anymore. She had a plan. Monday morning came fast. Maya walked into school with her hair neatly braided, her backpack clean, her eyes sharp. There was no trace of the broken girl who'd been soaked and humiliated. Something in her posture had changed, quiet confidence that made people glance twice. Brooke noticed too. "Look who's back," she said, smirking. "Didn't you have enough of Ridgewood's welcome party?" Maya smiled faintly. "Not yet." The tone of her voice, calm, steady, unshaken, threw Brooke off for a second. But before she could respond, the teacher called everyone into the auditorium. The principal, Mr. Garrett, stood on stage. "A's part of our kindness initiative this month," he announced, "will be showcasing student projects about empathy and respect." When he called Maya's name, whispers filled the room. "The new girl?" someone muttered. Maya walked onto the stage, holding a large poster board. Her heart raced, but she didn't falter. She faced the crowd, the same faces that had laughed at her, and took a deep breath. "This," She began, "Is a drawing I made after my first day here." She turned the board around. It showed a detailed sketch of a girl standing in the rain, surrounded by laughing silhouettes. The shading captured the pain, the loneliness, every emotion she had felt that day. Then she flipped the board again to reveal the second half. The same scene, but now the girl stood tall, sunlight breaking through behind her, the shadows fleeing. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Maya continued, her voice steady. "Everyone sees bullying as something that happens to someone else, until it happens to them. But the truth is, it only takes one voice, one person to stop it. Sometimes silence can hurt more than words." For a moment, the entire auditorium was silent. Even Brooke shifted uncomfortably in her seat. Then Maya smiled gently. "And for those who tried to break me, thank you. You made me realize how strong I actually am." The audience erupted in applause. The principal nodded in pride. And Brooke, for the first time, didn't look smug. She looked small. That afternoon, Maya walked through the schoolyard again. The same spot, the same cracked pavement. But now, people moved aside for her. Some smiled, others whispered. A few even apologized. Brooke, standing near the lockers, avoided her gaze. When Maya walked past her, she stopped. "You don't have to be afraid of me," Maya said quietly. "But maybe you should be afraid of what you almost became." Brooke didn't respond. She turned and walked away, her face pale. In the weeks that followed, something incredible happened. Students started speaking up. The school launched an anti-bullying program, inspired by Maya's drawing. She even won an award for her project, but more than that, she earned respect. Her story spread beyond Ridgewood. A local newspaper covered it, calling her the girl who made the bullies run. And as for Maya, she didn't hold grudges. She volunteered to mentor younger students who were struggling to fit in. She turned her pain into purpose. Because that's what real strength looks like. Not revenge, but resilience. If you've ever been made to feel small, remember Maya's story. You don't have to fight with fists or anger. Sometimes, standing tall and refusing to break is enough to make your bullies run. And if you're still here watching this, hit that like, subscribe, and share button to spread Maya's message. Because somewhere out there, another new kid needs to hear that they're stronger than they think.